is not my own deck, but I am really in love with this deck. I have a problem where I don't like to invest a lot of money into Magic, although it seems to be that I'm doing that. But when I'm building a deck, I don't feel like I can spend $40 on a single card. But when I go out and play competitively, like at F&M or something like that, I feel like I'm not winning, not because I don't have the skills or anything, but because I don't have money cards, which is fine, I understand, but I want to be able to be a little more competitive in playing without spending even more money. And I think I have found a deck that fits my needs. You can get 74 out of the 75 cards for less than $50. So I think this is the deck I found, and it was played and piloted by Tom Ross during the SCG Invitational, and spoiler alert, so if you don't want to know, pause it. He ended up winning with this deck, and it is awesome. It is exactly the kind of deck I love playing, and like I said, 74 out of the 75 cards, you can get all of them for under $50, which is a big plus for me. So, for this deck, he has 17 mountains, so it's really fast and really, it's like aggro on steroids, which is why I love it so much, because I like playing out threats as fast as I can and trying to kill my opponent before they have a chance to do anything. And this deck does just that. It has 26 creatures. 20 of those are 1-drops. Yeah, it's aggro fast. The first 1-drop is a play set, so for a Crowan Crusaders. Now, I love this card. I play it in my Red White Heroic deck, and I like this card. For 1 mana, you get a 1/1. That's pretty basic. But he also has the heroic of when you trigger him, you get to put a 1/1 soldier token onto the field. So you get to spread out your threats, which is really nice when you are playing against a lot of different decks that put creatures out. You can spread your threats out, and they have a harder time blocking with that. So he's got 4 of those. He also has 4 Ash Zealots. Now this is a 2-drop for 2/2, which is awesome, and it has First Strike and Haste. So you're going to play it on turn 2 and swing with it for 2, and it has First Strike. And it also has the ability that whenever a player casts a spell from their graveyard, it deals 3 damage to that player, but that's not as important because you're hoping that's never going to have to be used, because your opponent will be dead before they have a chance to cast pretty much anything. It's awesome. Alright, it also has a 4 Fire Drain Crusaders. Now this is 1 red mana for a 2/1 that you can pump it up to +1/+0. For 2 mana, it does deal 1 damage to you, and it deals damage whenever it's dealt damage to you. So whenever it gets dealt damage, it deals damage to you. But this thing can get pumped up and can get big really fast, and you can take out those big creatures your opponent is. It's going to be a nightmare for them to block. He is awesome. He also has 4 copies of Foundry Street Denizen. Now that's 1 red mana, obviously, for a 1/1, and whenever another red creature enters the battlefield, it gets +1/+0. So it can grow pretty big if you're playing out threats on that same turn. It's awesome. Alright. Now this is my favorite 1-drop he has. Legion Loyalist. It's just a 1/1 with haste that also has the awesome battalion feature. So if it attacks with at least 2 other creatures, all your creatures gain First Strike and Trample, and they can't be blocked by tokens. It's great, because you can put him down on turn, play something on turn 1, play this and something else on turn 2, attack with everything, and yeah, you have battalion, and it's awesome. It's a fantastic 1-drop. He also has 4 copies of Rakdos Cackler. Another 1-drop. It's just a 1/1, or you can unleash it. It won't be able to block, but it'll be a 2/2, and in this deck you're not going to be blocking so much, so you know what, not a big deal. He also includes 2 copies of Rubble Belt Macra. Now, it's 4 mana, but you will probably never play it as a 4 mana creature. But it has the Blood Rush ability for 1 red mana to give your creature +3/+3, which is great. You can pump it up really big, get rid of their creatures if they're blocking, or go in for the kill with that. It's great. Alright, so that's his creature base. And he also has a couple of cheap spells. He has 2 copies, he has 1 copy in his main deck of Blinding Flare. Now this is a pretty neat card. It was very interesting. It has an awesome mechanic of Strive. And it's 1 red mana, and you can Strive it for another red mana. But it says any number of target creatures can't block this turn, so if your opponent has an army out, you can just be, I'm going to Blinding Flare all your creatures, they can't block, I'm going to swing and you're going to die. It's great. He also has 4 copies of Dragon Mantle, 1 red mana to trigger Heroic on the Crowan Crusader, and it also gives, you get to draw a card when it enters the battlefield, and your creature has basically fire breathing, so you can pump it with a red mana to give it +1/+0. So that's pretty cool. He also has 2 copies of Lightning Strike, 2 mana to deal 3 damage to opponent or creature. If you have something that's too big that you can't handle, you can get rid of it off the field really quick like that, or do your last 3 points damage that you need with it. He also has 4 copies of Madcap Skills. So for 2 mana, it's an enchantment, and it gives your creature +3/+0, and it can't be blocked by more than 2, or it has to be blocked by 2 or more creatures, which is awesome, because if your opponent's throwing out a really big threat like Pelucranos or Stormbreath Dragon and is having to block this, they're gonna have to hold back something else to block with it too, just to block this one creature and get rid of it. And you're probably gonna be killing something because most of your creatures are gonna be 4 or 5 power by that turn, and if you have some of these other pump spells in here, they're gonna be dead. It's fantastically awesome and can destroy your opponent this way. He includes 2 copies of Shock, 1 mana for a 2 damage to creature or player, again just to remove things or kill your opponent for the last couple points. And 4 copies of Titan Strength, 1 mana for +3/+1 till end of turn, and to top it all off, you get to scry 1. It's great. It's awesome. So that's his main deck. And his sideboard's pretty awesome too. I think he has 2 copies of Eidolon of the Great Revel, which is just a 2 mana for making for a 2/2 that makes your opponent. It costs, I believe it's 2 or 3. You have to take 2 or 3. I can't remember exactly. You have to take damage every time you play a spell that costs 3 or less mana, which is going to be a problem for you. But since you're just using your life total as a resource, it'll be fine. Your opponent's going to be dead before then. He also has another copy of Lightning Strike, 2 copies of Magma Spray, 1 Searing Blood, 4 Skull Cracks to bring in against your Sphinx's Rev deck so they can't gain life or anything like that. He also has 1 Harness by Force, which is awesome. It allows you to take control of target opponent creature, untap it, gains haste. It does cost 3 mana, but he's got a land in here that helps with that. So Harness Force. It also has 1 copy of Mizzium Mortars to get rid of anything that might be in the way, 1 copy of Peak Corruption, and 1 Seismic Stomp. The most expensive card he has in this entire deck is only like $25-ish, $30-ish depending on where you get it. And it's really, really good. It's Mutavault, so you can play it and it would work, but if you're going on a more budget thing like I would like to do, I'd probably just have an extra mountain in there, so when I bring in those couple of those 3 drops that are in there, I'll board in that mountain as well. But like I said, this deck is awesome because it makes me feel like I don't have to spend as much money as a lot of other people are spending, and I can still make a really good deck. I just have to be talented and skilled, which is, in my opinion, more important than how much money can you throw at the problem. It's how smart you are and how well you play the game is more important than that. So let me know what you think of Tom Ross's deck in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe for more, and don't forget to go and check out our t-shirt giveaway that we are doing and enter that in, and you could win yourself an awesome t-shirt.